Hi, this is Roger Kennis. I'd just like to make a statement on the absurdity of Judge Linda Bell's ruling at summary judgment in my case against MGM Resorts International over the Las Vegas massacre on 1 October 2017 at Mandalay Bay and the adjacent property. I would just like to explain the absurdity of her argument and how it could only lead to collusion to get rid of my case so it wouldn't go to a jury trial because they knew I beat them on the law. It's very simple. Judge Bell, it wouldn't even take a first year law student to have written a better opinion or excuse for MGM. You claimed that I couldn't recover damages not only because my medical records were missing, which you absolutely had a hand in, but your ruling was that I couldn't recover damages because I wasn't on the same property as the shooter, because I was on an adjacent property. I couldn't recover damages. Well, let me break this down for you. MGM Resorts International and their insurers wouldn't have paid claims to all of the other victims on the same property that I was on. They have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders not to pay out claims that they're not liable for. They wouldn't have paid out the claim. And furthermore, MGM paid out over what the insurance covered, the additional $49 million. So they absolutely knew they had liability. And you helped bury my case through legal tricks and processes that violated my due process rights. You see, you assured me that you were going to obtain my military and medical records, that you would review them, and you would separate what could be seen by the defense and even myself, because I wasn't getting a direct copy of what you even ordered or obtained or didn't. So I stood there at summary judgment bewildered. You had absolute probable cause to believe I was a military veteran. Not only is the only document that you actually tried to order from the National Archives only my DD-214, it's 2 pages. That's not my complete military record. So you didn't even try to order my full military record. You didn't follow up twice on where you were referred to obtain such record. That record was already in the record asserted by MGM Resorts with their stamp on it under the appendix of exhibits number 8. But you didn't even try to order my medical records. And then you either knowingly allowed, which I absolutely believe is the case, Deborah Spinelli to sign the court order and enter it into the record, making it invalid order. But you didn't oversee the case properly. You lost control at that point. You didn't bother looking to find out what the reason was because you knew exactly what the reason was. You helped aid in procedural tricks to try and deceive me. And you did for a while. You just didn't hope I would come back. You thought I would go away. But your argument held no legal... It was garbage. They had a fiduciary duty to their shareholders not to pay out claims. So if they weren't liable and they didn't owe me a duty, they didn't owe a duty to anybody else across the street. But we know they paid out, and they paid over the limit. So they wouldn't have done that legally. So I will see you guys in court. I am filing a Rule 60D motion, and if the judge doesn't do his job under the law this time, we're going to take this even further. It is an absolute duty of the court to overturn this case, to reverse it. I had already made arguments that merited reversal. Only my medical records, the one thing that was needed to support the damages for the VA billing ledger and notice of claim from the federal government that was already in the record. You had absolute probable cause to believe I was a veteran, that I was disabled. You approved me in form of pauperous based on Social Security and VA disability alone for the case. And all throughout it, MGM acknowledged that not only did they tell you in testimony, in the hearings, it's documented in the transcripts that they told you that they had received some of my records They absolutely received my DD 214 and 737 pages of my VA record. Um, and also the HIPAA forms to retrieve them from the VA. And they never even requested them from there. But yet, they tried to say that they needed it authenticated. Well, apparently they didn't need my DD 214 authenticated because they inserted that in the record. So they concealed and hid the VA records that I had also given to them that they also had a duty to give to the court in Denton. So we can keep playing this game, but it's over. When I went into court and I asked the judge at the last hearing on my motion for relief to relieve me from judgment, I raised the question, who signed the order, the defense or the court? And he abruptly cut me off. It was to protect MGM and you. And he knew it. And he cut me off. So that's a second due process violation. I've got numerous due process violations throughout this case. And I will see you guys in court. And for law enforcement, you might want to start doing your jobs. To the Attorney General, you might want to start prosecuting crimes. And some of these crimes are federal. You colluded with them to get rid of my case. That is unconscionable. As a judge, now justice, you shouldn't even be sitting on the bench.